All right, Christian, this is a last minute study guide for your test on Friday or Thursday. I think there's a couple things that I wanted to clarify. Um, so I hope this is going to help. All right, the first question you asked that I don't think we fully clarified was what exactly is happening when you have an equation like this, and why are we doing the zero product rule? So first off, we're looking for a number or two numbers, or sometimes it can be one or two, where when you plug it into that letter R, the left side will equal the right side. Okay. Now the format can change. Meaning, what if you wrote it like this? See that? I took 4R and 12 and moved it to the left side, so they're over here. Now in this case, we're looking for the number R, so that when you plug it in and you subtract 12 afterwards, you'll get 0, or like 0 equals what? 0. So you're basically solving for the letter R. Now, the solution to this format for this one is going to be the exact same for that one. Okay? Now, whenever you have a quadratic, and a quadratic is anything with a squared, okay, these are called quadratics, you always have to set it equal to 0 first, and then factor it, and then solve for those two parentheses. For instance, we're going to turn this into this, right? R minus 6, R plus 2. If you do your X method, this is what you should get. So this format, so basically they're all related, okay? This becomes this, and that is reformatted to become this situation where you have two parentheses being multiplied to each other. We're going to use a zero product property, meaning we want to turn the first parenthesis into a 0, so that 0 times another parenthesis will obviously equal what? 0. Well, for the first parenthesis to turn to 0, R has to become positive what? Positive 6, okay? And for the second parenthesis to turn to 0, R has to equal negative 2. Because think about it. Excuse me. If you plug in 6 into R, 6 minus 6 will become what? 0. 0 times anything will equal what? 0. So R equals 6 is a solution to this problem right here. The second parentheses, for the second parenthesis to become 0, because again, we want the answer to become 0, right? Or the solution to this. So to turn this whole situation into 0, we want this whole parenthesis on the right side to become what? To become 0. So 0 times R minus 6 will become what? 0. I know you're probably thinking, what's all with all these zeros? Okay, the idea is you're trying to figure out what is going to turn one parenthesis into a 0. The first parenthesis, because you have an R minus 6, we want R to be a positive 6. 6 minus 6 is equal 0. For the second parenthesis, we want R to be a negative 2, so that when you plug it in, negative 2 plus 2 will become what? 0. Okay? So it turns out that these two are the solutions. Now watch this. If I take these two numbers and plug it back into this format, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get 0. So watch. We'll put 6 squared minus 4 times 6 minus 12. Okay, that's 36 minus 24. And then you have 12 minus 12 equals 0, 0 equals 0. Check. It works out, right? And then if I plug in R equals negative 2, I'm going to plug that into this equation. We're going to get 0 again. Negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 minus 12 equals 0. So that's 4 plus 8 minus 12. 4 plus 8 is 12. There you go. You get 0 again, so check, it works out. But again, remember do you remember what I told you in the beginning? The solution that we get here is going to work for the original format right over what? Right over there. So if I plug it into this equation, so I'll just do one, just as a demonstration. Number 6, okay? R equals 6. If you plug it in, you'll get 6 squared equals 4 times 6 plus 12. Look at that. 36 equals 24 plus 12. 24 plus 12 is 36. So it works for all three situations. Whatever equation you have in the beginning, again, you always want to set it equal to 0 and then start solving. Excuse me. Whatever you get for your answer, it's going to work for the original equation. Okay, and you do want to double check and plug it back in. The second thing I wanted to help you review was the graph. I think it was over, oh, it's over there. Okay, when you want to graph these, let's take it step by step. This is basically y equals x squared plus 6x minus 40. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do when the teacher says graph this is the first thing you're gonna do is find the x what? The x-intercepts. How do you do that? You factor it. So this is gonna become you set this equal to 0 again. Okay, so notice everything is set equal to 0 because graphically setting a y coordinate to 0, you're telling the equation give me the x coordinate so that the y coordinate is 0, and that's called an x-intercept. So this is going to be x plus 10, x minus 4. And notice the zero product property again. For the 0 to happen, in the first parenthesis, x has to equal negative what? 10. It has to be the opposite because opposite plus the other one is 0. For the second parenthesis, it's going to be x equals positive what? 4. Okay, and then if you plug it back in, it's all going to work out. But again, in this graphing situation, what's going on? You basically have two coordinates, negative 10, 0, and 4, comma 0. Remember this? The 0 is there because we set the letter y to 0 over here. These are your x-intercepts. So first thing you do is you find the x-intercepts and you plot it. Negative 10, 0, which is over here, and 4, 0 over there. And the second thing you want to do is find your vertex. So number 2, find your vertex. To do that, you have to first find what we call the axis of symmetry, AOS. Okay, axis of symmetry. And it's basically the midpoint between these 2 points. To find the midpoint, all you have to do is add the 2 and divide it by 2. So negative 10 plus 4, divide that by 2. You get negative 6 divided by 2, you get negative 3. So negative 3 is your axis of symmetry, and you want to put a dotted line all the way down because that's the line that's going to cut the graph exactly in half. The third thing you want to do is find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you set x equal to 0. So if you put x equals 0 right over there, y would equal negative 40. So it's 0, comma negative 40. So you plot that point, 0, comma negative 40, which is right over here. Oh, actually, I need to go back. To find the axis of symmetry, once you find the, to find the vertex, you find the axis of symmetry first, which is negative 3, and then you plug it back into the original equation. It's going to give you the corresponding y value. So y is equal to negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 minus 40. And then you do your work. 9 minus 18 minus 40 equals, what is that? Negative 9 minus 40, so negative 49. So the axis of symmetry, I keep calling it axis of symmetry. The vertex using the axis of symmetry is negative 3, negative 49. So you plot that. Negative 3, negative 49, which is right about, that's 48, 49 is here, so right there. So this is your vertex. And notice the axis of symmetry goes all the way down here. So it's going to be a mirror reflection. So if you have a point here, you'll also have a point right over, let's see, what is that? 1.5. Go 1.5, so it'll be right over here. And then you connect all of these, it'll become a parabola. This is a huge parabola. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Bye.